in Spooktober. So we didn't stream at confirmed time earlier. I'm so sorry. Like, everything's a fucking mess. I'm looking at different streaming platforms. Everything's bleh. But we're here. So let's do our audio levels. That seems a little bit loud for our ambient sounds. Somewhere around there seems good. So this is called Class Reunion Chat Room, and I believe it's like a psychological click-through horror, which I'm really excited for. Type the grey pre-written text into the chat box if Amy is responding and press the send button to enter it. Alright. This game features descriptions of violence, gore, and animal cruelty. Play with the lights off and headphones on for a better experience. Well, my lights aren't off, but they're pink, so that's creepy enough, I guess. You could be next. Amy, sometimes I wonder why the convenience store opened that long. Just like last night and the night before, barely any customers came. Whatever, as long as I get paid. Looks like it started raining right when I got home. Guess I was lucky. Can't open the window and let the fresh air in without getting my laptop wet though. Alright, how should I kill time tonight? A big disadvantage of being awake when everyone else was asleep was that I had no one to chat with after getting home. Sometimes I'd play random games I'd find on the internet or watch just some movie. Unproductive stuff. Which is probably a bad habit considering that I still hadn't figured out what direction to take my life in. Let me put on some music first. Hey! So this so far is so vibesy, honestly. I mean, yeah, imagine being up late at night. It's totally not 4:30 in the morning for me. This is the perfect soundtrack for a chill rainy night. An email? I barely ever get emails. The store manager usually contacts me via SMS and my friends via full chat. It's an email with a Blaze Mark tree. I hadn't heard that name in forever. Can we like open our emails? No, we can't. He also generally kept people at arm's length. I barely knew anything about him because of that. Why was he sending me an email? The mail was oddly formal and an invitation to a class reunion chat. The way Blaze had worded it made it seem more like a business opportunity. Either way, it sounded like a great idea. Generally I did enjoy my time at school and most people in my class were pretty cool. I'd also love to know what they're currently doing. Maybe they could give me some ideas in my future. Alright, it's settled. Time to join the group chat. Not that anyone would be online at this time of night. Seems like 3 other people beside me have joined the group chat so far. Blaze, someone called Gigi, and someone called Maik. Blaze is writing something. Seems like he's still awake after all. Hello, Amy. It's nice to see you here. You're one of the first to join the group chat aside from us 3, who came up with the idea for the class reunion project. The purpose of this group chat is to catch up with our classmates and reforge connections. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Gigi. You're the only one I know who writes such long paragraphs in full chat. And wasn't all of that information already in your email? It never hurts to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Also, I'd recommend spelling it e-mail, as it is compound, make up of words, electronic and mail. You don't write e-business or e-learning either, do you? Anyway, it's nice to meet you again, Amy. And then we just have to check what's here. Do I really need to put like everything? Fuck. Okay, I could have just done that. And then we say, nice to meet you as well. I have to admit that I'm not fully sure whose name belongs to who though. I told you using your full name as a chat name, or at least your first name, just like Amy, would make things a lot easier. But Gigi sounds way cuter with like the little uwu face. Anyways, I'm Angie. We hung out one time, if you still remember. Now that she mentioned it, we did hang out once. We weren't particularly close though. Angie was someone who got along with everyone in our class, and who was always surrounded by a bunch of other girls. It was the same when we went shopping. She invited me directly and I wasn't sure how to decline. I initially assumed we would go with a few people, but we ended up going as a group of 15. Hanging out with so many people at once was a bit much. I didn't dislike Angie though. I genuinely enjoy hanging out with her one-on-one. And you might know Mayek as Mike. Don't mind his frequent yeah, that's not a friendly, dyslexic friendly word, errors. You have to get used to them. Hello. He's a bit shy, but he'll open up to you in no time. Hey Mike, I'm not sure, but I don't think we interacted much during our time at school, did we? I don't think so. A fellow dyslexic think. Mike didn't have a big preference, so I'm not surprised that you don't remember him. Have a big presence, so I'm not surprised that you don't remember him. Only because he's shy though. He was really good at sports. If he had been less timid, he would have likely been very popular. You three seem close. Were you friends back in school? I didn't remember seeing them hang out together. Kind of. It was Angie's fault. Don't make it sound like a bad thing. I noticed that Blaze and Mike always hung out alone, and so I befriended them. We ended up hanging out frequently, and our friendship lasted beyond school. I wasn't good at making friends. I probably would have been fine alone, but it was still nice to have people I could share my thoughts with. Aww. It was, by the way, also Angie's idea to create this group reunion chat. Mike and I ended up being dragged into it. Angie tends to be pretty disorganized, so I figured they'd need me to handle the administrative side. And I guess reforging contacts just in case they come in handy later isn't a bad idea either. I joined because I was hoping that I could get to know my classmates properly since I missed out on it when I was in school. When I was still in school. I noticed that you've become more outgoing recently, Mike. I think that's great. So, what have you all been up to after leaving school? I'll start. They might come as a bit of a surprise, but I've been working in software development. That was a surprise. This was a surprise indeed. Angie was very open about herself to anyone who would listen, but I'd never heard her being into tech. I personally think that there was no reason to keep your love programming a secret back then, Angie. Yeah, it wasn't bad after all. Well, I thought it would make me seem weird or something. Heh, teehee. Well, my past suspicions of something being confirmed, unfortunately. There are some colleagues and clients at my company that make snarky comments, side-eye. They're just being poo-poo heads, don't mind them. Yeah, we know how skilled you are at what you do. Thanks, guys. I'm glad I was able to talk about my hobby with you two back then, at least. That was probably the reason why we got so close in the first place. Can you imagine my surprise, Amy, when Blaine came up to me out of the blue and told me that he knew I was into programming? I totally thought he was about to, like, blackmail me. ... Turns out he's just really smart and wanted to confirm his suspicions. It didn't make sense to keep it a secret from Blaze and Mike after all. So I just poured my heart out to them, and all the nerdy stuff I couldn't talk about with anyone else, to them. Bit off topic, but what emoji you used gave me a heartburn. Bit off topic, but that emoji you used gives me a heartburn. Yeah, it looks quite odd. I think it's cute. Anyways, you're next, Mike. You'll be surprised to hear what Mike has been up to, Amy. Actually, how about you guessed first? I didn't know Mike at all, so I wasn't sure how I was supposed to guess his current job. All I knew about him was that he was into sports back in school. Something with sports? I knew you'd guess that. It's probably a bit of a weird jump from sports, but I work with animals. I enjoyed sports in school, but I also really liked biology. I also always felt less awkward around animals than humans. So I ended up studying zoology and became a keeper. That's really cool. So you work at a zoo? Yeah, it's really fun. I actually forgot to account for that. I'd have to work with other people even when working at a zoo. But my co-workers are really cool, and thanks to them I've become a bit more sociable. Which is why I hope I can get to know my classmates properly now. Anyways, I probably wrote too much. Your turn, Blaze. Blaze's story is probs more interesting. My cat's coming, I guess. Hi, baby. I see my time has come. I knew early on that I wanted to study and practice law. I figured it would be an adequate challenge and proved to be a fulfilling career path. After some research, I concluded that one of the best options for me was Yale University in the United States of America. It was fairly low acceptance rate, but I wasn't too worried. Currently, I'm in my last semester. Do you have any further questions? That sounds great. That sounds great. What is America like? Well, it's hard to generalize at this. It's a very big country, but what impressed me was the contrast between the big cities and the more rural areas of America. I also really like spending time at the parks. They're very pleasant. Forgot to ask, but have you made friends there? I'd love to get to know them. He's not replying. That's probably a reply in and of itself. Blaze would always have trouble making friends because of how unapproachable he has made himself. I don't need any friends in America. I just hang out online with you. Aw, that's sweet. No, Amy. Blaze may seem very unfriendly and pedantic, but he's actually very nice. He always helped me with anything if I needed any help, and not just with studying. Yeah, he's a bit of a tsundere. This poor innocent sweet child. What is a tsundere? You know, someone who seems cold or harsh but gets warm and kind as you get to know them. The one who says it's not like I like you or anything, baka. I would never say that. Sure. I wasn't following this conversation at all. Their replies just made me more confused. Anyway, what about you, Amy? What have you been doing? Nothing as interesting as you three. I'm working at a convenience store to bridge time until I'm sure what I want to do long term. No worries, you'll figure it out soon enough. Yeah, it took me some time thinking to find out I wanted to be a keeper. There's no rush. I wouldn't recommend wasting too much time either though. Side-eye. But I guess there's nothing wrong with taking the time to make sure that you choose the right career path for you. Happy face. They were a bit of an odd bunch, but they all seemed like very nice people overall. But well, Blaze still seemed a bit stuck up, but I trust Angie and Mike's assessments of him. They knew him way longer than I did. My stomach is rumbling. Right, I still hadn't eaten anything since coming home. I'll be AFK for a bit. I'll make myself something to eat. See you in a bit. Happy face. I should get something too. Be back in a bit. Alright, so that's the first little section of this game, and I don't know how it's gonna get horror, but this is pretty fun actually. Alright. A software developer, a zookeeper, and a lawyer. They had chosen really interesting career paths. I can't help but feel bad about my lack of therefore. I had no idea about programming, and it seems too tough for me anyway, so I guess that wouldn't work for me. I'm allergic to animal hair, so zookeeper would likely be out of question. I'm also not smart enough to become a lawyer. What am I good at? Stocking shelves? Oh well, I'll figure it out eventually. Maybe they can give me some tips later. For now, I'll warm up some leftover risotto. That should improve my mood. How late is it now? 3 a.m. There's still some time left until Liv wakes up. I wonder how well she remembers Angie, Blaze, and Mike. Now that I think about it, how come the three of them are still awake? Maybe I should ask them when I'm back at my laptop. Risotto, you made yourself a tasty treat. Here we go. I'm back with food and renewed motivation. Are my headphones broken? The music sounds weird. Oh well, I was planning on buying new ones soon anyways. Just did. I brought some refurbished Corsairs. Refurbished. The way to go. Stop e-waste. Let's see what they've been chatting about while I was gone. Apparently nothing. They probably have their own group chat. Right, I wanted to ask them, how come they're still awake? I'm back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello again. I was wondering, how come you're all still awake? It's still early evening here in America, so it's a time zone difference in my case. I have tomorrow off, and I usually like staying up late when I don't have to wake up early the next day. I also might have had too much coffee and can't sleep. I had a late shit at the zoo, currently transitioning to being a night keeper. Shift. That's an embarrassing typo. This is why I tell you to double check your messages before sending them. Hung out with some of the owls. They're chill. Not a fan of the scorpions, though they're active at night and scurry around. Scorpions? It's the same for me. I work the late shift and stay up for a few hours after getting home. Imagine that. The main reason why I stay up after my night shift is so that I can chat with Liv before going to sleep. Liv gets up very early, so that is usually the best time to catch up with her online. She probably got Blaze's invitation as well. I assume she'll join as well once she's awake. Hey, I have an idea. How about we each tell an embarrassing secret? That way we can get to know each other better. That sounds like a dumb idea. I'm not sure about this. I don't think I'd be able to come up with anything interesting. And I also feel like sharing secrets with half strangers, even if they're past classmates. Angie face. I guess it's fine. Please don't cry. Alright, if Mike thinks it's okay, then I guess I'll play along. Happy face. No worries, Amy, you can just pass or tell us something general about yourself. We don't know you that well, so that'll be totally fine. Alright then. I guess I'll just tell them something random about myself rather than an actual secret. Alright, I'll go first since I proposed it. You already know about my love for programming when I was at school, so that's not much of a secret anymore. Instead, I'll tell you about something else. This is probably not a secret. So this is probably not something unnormal, but sometimes I feel jealous of other people. I guess I don't like this about myself because I don't want to have negative thoughts about others. That especially happens when people openly share things they're passionate about. Probably because I never got to talk about my hobby openly. Thank you for sharing. Don't worry, feeling jealous sometimes is normal. I agree. How you deal with those feelings is what's important. I'll go next, Blaze. I'm still thinking. Oh, you go next, Blaze. I'm still thinking. Alright then. I'll share with you the worst day of my life. Dramatic pause. I got a C once in grade school. ... I guess coming from Blaze, that is a big confession. You'll never understand my pain. Whatever, I'm next. Blaze and Andrew already know, but this might be a surprise for you, Amy. When I was in school, I did sports and took care of what I ate. But since finishing school, I kind of abandoned sports. And I'm not as careful about eating healthy, so I gained some weight. Meaning I don't look much how I used to. The keeper job is physically demanding, but not enough to level out of my love for food. I don't think that's really a problem as long as it doesn't affect your health in a major way. Yeah, and there are definitely women out there who are into chubby but underneath muscular, guys. Anyways, your turn, Amy. Mike working at a zoo reminded me of something. It's not a secret though. I'd never be able to work at a zoo because of my animal hair allergy. But on top of that, I'm allergic to iguanas. How do you even find out something like that? It's a long story. I'd love to hear about it when we meet in person for the reunion. Anyways, my turn again. I can tell you somewhat of a follow-up to my last admission. There was one time when I felt especially jealous. It was someone I knew who was into sprinting. She was really passionate about it, and it was the topic of our conversation. My attempts at changing the topic were unsuccessful. She was really good at running and definitely would become a successful athlete. It was a bit painful to listen to her speak about her hobbies openly, while being reminded that I couldn't talk about my own. But I feigned a smile every time we talked and tried to let it not faze me. Eventually, I had to find a way to vent so I wouldn't explode though. Well, I did something that I'm definitely not proud of. Is this where it's gonna get horror? I ended up putting tacks in her running shoes. Oh, that was unexpected. I always saw Angie as a really kind person. I never expected her to resort to that, but I guess everyone has their dark side. And it seemed like Angie was regretting it. I guess you do stupid stuff when you're younger. Okay. This getting creepy side note, my cat's asleep on my lap. And it's the most wholesome thing I've ever seen. Oh my god. Anyways. And it seemed like Angie was regretting it, so I guess you do stupid stuff when you're younger. I assume it's my turn then. This time I'll recount something that might be more interesting to you. Don't forget to split your messages up, it's easier to read. Alright then, I'll try. When I was young, I knew someone who went on my nerves more than anyone else. He was lazy, got bad grades, was vulgar and overall an unpleasant person, and he always followed me trying to befriend me, no matter how much I declined. Until something happened on a school trip. We had to go hiking on a mountain, and I, being not very fit, hung back, and since the boy, to my detriment, wanted to hang out with me, he hung back as well. He kept passionately talking my ear off about something irrelevant. I don't remember what exactly. Well, he distracted himself so much that he slipped and toppled over the edge. He managed to grab a root, but was protruding off of the cliffside. Apparently, due to shock, he wasn't able to cry for help. All he could do was grasp in desperation. The teachers and other kids ahead of us hadn't heard what happened and kept walking on. There were several things I could have done at that moment. I could have grabbed his hand or could have cried out to the teacher. But I didn't do anything. All I could think at that moment was how little would be lost if the boy were to disappear. And so I continued walking, pretending that I didn't notice. The boy was found dead at the foot of the mountain not too long after. The teacher shouldered the responsibility and she was supposed to watch us, but I knew that it was my fault. I still remember his face when he mouthed for help without getting a single sound out, tears in his eyes. That's heavy. Death a step up from the story about you getting a Sue. Is this something he should be openly sharing with me? This is very serious. I guess it wasn't like Blaze actively killed him and Blaze was still young, but that's a very extreme story. Alright, my turn again. My secret is work related, so please don't tell anyone. Don't want to get fired. Sure. It wasn't like I knew where he worked anyway. Though I wonder if he should be telling me secrets that could cost him his job. The ones working the night shift usually don't notice. This sounds relatively harmless so far. So eventually the intrusive thoughts started. Did you know that seals look chunky but their meat has less than 2% fat? There are also indigenous people who eat parrots. Anyhow, these thoughts are troubling. I'm thinking about eating friends and family is troubling. That kinda weirded me out. The longer the secret sharing is going on, the more unsympathetic everyone seems, and the more uncomfortable I'm becoming. But I guess that's what happens when people start sharing their darkest secrets. It's 4 AM already. I should go take a shower. I'll be gone for a bit. Alright, see you later. I don't think I want to know where that was going, honestly. What the fuck? The more I think about it, the more I wonder if what they wrote is true. Angie bullied and physically hurt someone. Blaze let someone die, and Mike is thinking about eating the animals he works with. Those were pretty shocking stories. But would they be sharing them with an almost stranger like me? Were they playing a prank on me? Phew, that was nice. So do I dare open the chat again? I suspect things have become pretty awkward after those confessions. Seems like no one had written any new messages since I left. Hey, Amy is back. Welcome back. Hello again. Huh? How could they tell I was back? Full chat doesn't have any online away or offline indications. Alright, with Amy being back, should we continue? How about we continue? I volunteered to go next. Oh, fuck. I'd like to share the aftermath of what I experienced on that trip. I trust you're familiar with the concept of natural selection. It's a term popularized by Charles Darwin. The term natural selection is oftentimes used shockingly whenever someone hurts themselves while doing something unintelligent. Sometimes said unintelligent actions even result in death. The boy's death I talked about might fit that category. That got me thinking, what if instead of leaving it up to chance, you were forced said natural selection? Which would make it less natural, of course, but if I were to do that, I wouldn't choose the affected randomly. I would use myself as a standard measure and filter out the ones who were, by a big margin, inferior to me. I'd very likely be a good judge of a person's capabilities and whether they were justified in living. So I gave it a go and it was pretty successful. I would research them, come up with a challenge and warn them of the consequences that would await them if they were to fail. I thought up a pretty clever consequence, if I might add. Swimmers who didn't succeed drowned with their arms and feet tied. Singers got their vocal cords ripped out. Cooks were cooked still alive. Despite the challenges being rather easy in my opinion, at least few survived. The ones who did survive rose to new heights. Did you know Burami, the bowler who became famous for never missing a strike this year? That was also some commotion around him missing 2 fingers out of nowhere. You have me to thank for that. He was to have one of his fingers smashed to pulp with a bowling ball for every strike he missed. He did unfortunately miss 2, but 2 the first because he didn't believe my threat. The second because he was too afraid of what would happen the next time he'd miss. Quitting bowling wasn't an option, of course. He'd lose more fingers if he did that. Smash, smash. Using a bowling ball was ineffective. Well, using a bowling ball was a bit ineffective, but it did get the point across. Nice. A bit brutal, but if it works, it works. What kind of twisted prank was this? I'll go next. This was something to do with the girl who loved running I told you about. Well, putting the tracks in her shoes wasn't the only thing I did. No matter what I did, she wouldn't give up running, and I tried everything. I put laxatives in her food before an important race. I spread nasty rumors about her, like how weird she smelled when she trained because she sweated so much. Eventually, I found one permanent solution to this problem. I invited her to a secluded part of the school building where no one would bother us, and pushed her down the steps. She wasn't too badly hurt. She had only twisted her ankle. Fortunately, I had prepared a sledgehammer in advance. It was pretty heavy, but I managed to lift it. No, I refuse to sleep. I'm playing a horror game and I refuse to sleep. How are you? It was pretty heavy, but I managed to lift it and shattered her legs. I brought the hammer down over and over. I can still hear the crunching mixed with her screams. I loved the look on her face. She realized that she'd never run again. You could not hear me from the front room, Kieran. Fuck off. I loved the look on her face when she realized she'd never be able to run again. She of course tried to accuse me, but no one would believe her. There was no evidence, and I was well liked by teachers and students. So she was called a liar who was jealous of me and probably got into an accident and tried to frame me. That was when I got a taste for destroying other people's dreams. It felt similarly ecstatic when I stabbed the eardrums of a composer and peeled off the skin of a model. I'm getting nostalgic. I can relate. True. Very relatable. This was beyond being a bad prank. This was sick. Alright, let me tell you a story as well, bro. What is this game? What in the backrooms of Steam is this shit? What the fuck? At the zoo, there was a penguin that I was really close to. Hung out with him regularly, played a lot with him. Was really cute. Was probably my closest friend aside from Angie and Blaze. He also really seemed to like me back. None of the keepers were as close to him as me. Whenever I entered his pen, he would run up to me right away. He was also always sad when I had to leave. I'd have been very sad if anything ever happened to that penguin. One night, I stayed in the penguin's pen. He had convinced me to sleep over. I was watching him sleep peacefully when the hunger came. I did it. I killed him and ate him. Right then and there, raw. I was crying, but he tasted so good. Then I moved to a tapir, also one of my best friends. Then a tiger baby I myself had helped deliver. I ate them all while crying. But the sadder their death was, the better they tasted. Eventually my curiosity transitioned from the animals to my co-workers. How sad would I be if I ate them? How tasty would they be? This bitch did not send a fucking uwu face to that. Alright, this is screwed up. Very screwed up. They all have disturbing imaginations and I was no part of it. Also, what is up with my headphones? I kept hearing those weird sounds. Oh right, I just remembered. Amy, was this your address? What the... I'm gonna take a quick break. We'll be back. What the fuck is happening? Alrighty, so we are back from a quick little break. Let's carry on. Oh yeah, so they just basically doxed us. Why do you have this? I made sure to research everyone's address to be able to find a good meeting spot for the in-person event that most people would not object to. How about we visit Amy now that we're friends? That sounds like a great idea. I'm a bit far away, I'm in America. It might take me a few minutes. Alright, I've had enough. They're seriously creeping me out. There's no reason to keep talking to them while no other classmates have joined. Maybe we can make a new group chat without those three. A message by Liv? I guess she's awake already. Hey Amy. Hey Liv, have you received a group chat invite from Blaze? They're planning on a class reunion, but they're being very weird. An invite? Can't say that I got one. Didn't Blaze say that he sent out an invite to all our past classmates? That's odd. But hey, this reminds me of an urban legend I read recently. It's about some scary group chat message stuff. Let me send you the link. There she goes again about those urban legends and occult stories. She really can't get enough of them. Not exactly in the mood for scary stories, but I'll human live. Horrifying chat room, do not click their invitation. A rumour has been making the rounds recently. Some of our readers have reported getting scary group chat invites from old acquaintances, distant family, a work colleague. Don't click the invite link to those chat invitations under any circumstances. Witness reports speak of 3 different ghosts that can be encountered in said chat room. A gluttonous ghost that can't be sedated no matter how much it eats. A ghost filled with regret and jealousy that thrives off destroying other people's happiness. A ghost that feels superior to everyone and wants to get rid of anyone that it sees as beneath it. Those invitations usually appear at night and disappear the next day. If it doesn't disappear, it's likely a legit invitation. If not, then you've been contacted by these ghosts. If you accept their invitation and keep chatting with them, they can enter your home. To avoid them, you need to ignore said invitation until it disappears. Don't click on any chat links that you receive at night. Someone sent a message into the group chat. We're here. We're here. We're here. Is that the end? Holy shit, that's the end of the game. That was a nice quick little one. That was horrifying. Holy shit. That was a quick little game, but it was actually really enjoyable, actually. That was very, oh fuck, I hate to say it, but relaxed vibes. And that was actually a really well put together little story. I really liked that, actually. I think I'm gonna pause, maybe find another game, and then we'll be back. I don't know, how long have I been streaming for? 40 minutes. I'm gonna be live again later, so we can just vibe then. I'll be live at sort of like 10 p.m. British time. I don't know what that is in freedom units. See you guys next time. Lots of love. Bye.